Irfan. Uh, we, in fact, are friends and colleagues for around 2 decades, like it's approaching 2 decades now. But apart from that, Irfan Shahzad, Irfan Shahzad Takalvi is one of the brightest. He is a very humble person, but I'm always saying that he's one of the brightest scholars in the sphere of international relations of the whole Central Asia, South Asia, and West Asia, because he's very sharp in his approach to the Eurasian and world politics. His mind is always searching, as he just said, for something new and something good, which will bring for I forgot about East Asia as well. That will bring to the whole Asia, and which he's contributing actually, working very actively, uh, not only with academia, this part of the world, but giving good recommendations for the think tanks and those who take decisions in politics. Irfan Shahzad was, in his time, best Asian journalist according to World Bank inquiry. And he, back 20 years back, was writing about the water deficiency in South and Central Asia. And, now it is a major trend in Central Asia to see how we will deal with the water issues. And he was researching this at the time when no one else in our academic circle was interested in that. Irfan Shahzad is the person we're saying about reapproachment of civilizations of South and Central Asia. And in fact, he is the one of the persons who said that we are not different regions. We are one cultural region. And he was actually advocating for the for that if back in 19th and beginning of 20th century caravans coming from Hindustan was sharing and selling in Central Asia and vice versa. Central Asian caravans were doing business in Hindustan, as we call it still. And he was the person who was studying diasporas, Indian diasporas, if we call them, or Parsi diasporas in Central Asia and mainly in Uzbekistan. That was his interest at that time.
Yes.
Now we see that almost 2 decades later on, the world is actually as he described the world at that time. And at that time, probably some of the people listening to him was saying, like, are you having fantasies on this? No, it turned out that it is not. So, with my great respect, love, and I don't know what else to say to this great personality and the scholar, I'm giving the floor to Irfan.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Akbota. I'm humbled. I'm grateful upon this introduction. Much of that I actually don't deserve, but you are very generous in attributing a lot of very small things which I did as some very great initiatives, but I'm glad that those did make an impact thanks to the help, contribution, and assistance of friends like you and many others. And I feel lucky that I have grown academically, intellectually, in a circle that comprises people like you who have always helped me, who have always come forward to accept my ideas, my initiatives, and helped me to take them to fruition. Thank you very much. Today, we are discussing a topic that interests almost every scholar of international relations in this region and also beyond, even at international scene. The re-emergence of the supercontinent that is Eurasia and the emerging security structure on this supercontinent. And I would add to it that today you would be hearing it from me the way it looks from Islamabad, the way it looks from Pakistan. So to say, a Pakistani perspective on Eurasian security landscape. First of all, when we talk about Pakistan within Eurasia, our students, our young researchers, our fellows must keep in mind that Pakistan is a country of 240 million people. So that alone is something to reckon with, something to understand that it is a place where a lot of ideas take shape. It is a place where a lot of new initiatives emerge. And it is a place which is diverse, and there is a unity in this diversity. Of course, there are various shades of opinion where uh, differences, where there are several kinds of even contestations politically, academically, culturally, but there is a unity in this diversity. So when I say a view from Pakistan, it more or less reflects the view of majority of Pakistanis. When we talk about Eurasia, Eurasia, of course, becomes the largest put together. It becomes the largest landmass on Earth and also the largest inhabitation of the mankind. So it is in one way, also it is the place where the largest number of nation states, as we define them today, exist on the map of the world, put together Asia and Europe. So it's very natural that a lot of contestations emerge, a lot of conflicts arise, a lot of troubles are witnessed regularly, continuously, and gradually we see some devastating developments as well, as we are seeing in some parts of Eurasia, particularly between the Russian Federation and Ukraine. So, seeing from Pakistan right now, of course, the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine, that becomes a very destabilizing event, that becomes a potentially even more dangerous development when outside actors are trying to exploit it to their advantage and to their political, diplomatic, strategic interests. So, from Pakistani point of view, for Pakistani policymakers, for academics, it is right now this 3 years, almost 3 years old conflict is not only limited to center of Eurasia, but it is also having the potential to spread its negative impacts to many other parts of Eurasia. So it needs to be contained. Powers inside Eurasia, of course, the direct parties to conflict, they have their own respective positions, their conflicting positions. But other major players in Eurasia, first of all, they should devise strategies to minimize the intensity of the conflict in the first phase and then gradually end it in as short a period as possible. And the world community must also join hands before it is too late. Uh, of course, beyond this conflict, this major conflict, we also see the situation as it develops in Afghanistan, particularly for past 3 years, as something of grave concern, especially for countries like Pakistan. Of course, Taliban at one point of time have been a partner of Pakistan, at least diplomatically. But during past 3 years, Pakistan has been at the receiving end of Taliban's control in Afghanistan. Pakistan it has highlighted it repeatedly that Taliban soil, Afghanistan soil under Taliban is being used for attacks on Pakistan. The outfit named as Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, which means the movement of Pakistani Taliban, although their name is Movement of Pakistani Taliban, but you don't find them in Pakistan. You actually would find them mostly holed up in safe havens across the border, across the Durand line in Afghanistan. And Pakistan does not blame that the Taliban leadership uh, in Kabul and in Kandahar is necessarily entirely backing them. But Pakistan certainly raises this question that what stops them from acting against them? What stops them from controlling them and stopping them from staging terrorist activities in Pakistan? Even today, Pakistani newspapers are carrying the news on the front pages of all newspapers of three security forces personnel martyred by Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, TTP, in tribal areas of Pakistan. And during past 2 weeks alone, the loss to Pakistan's security forces is close to 20 personnel, including officers and soldiers, in during last 2 weeks only. And this year, Pakistan's loss is over 100. So they have killed over 100 security forces in Pakistan this year alone. We are talking about 2024. Of course, Pakistani forces have responded. They have contained them. They have engaged them. They have eliminated a much larger number of them. And Pakistan already having a major contribution in global war on terror since 2001. Although whether Pakistan should have participated in that or not is another debate, but Pakistan has lost more than 80,000 lives in this war over past 20 years, and uh, more than 20 years, and Pakistan has been a victim of terrorism in this region, and this has intensified over past more than 3 years of Taliban's control of Afghanistan. And we in Pakistan believe that first of all, Taliban have to play the role they must, that is, make sure that their soil, the Afghan soil, is not used against any other country, especially Pakistan, because Pakistan has the largest porous border, the longest porous border with Afghanistan, and then there are many other similarities that make Pakistan much more at the receiving end of terrorism safe havens in Afghanistan than any other country. So on the issue of Afghanistan, I would stop here, just adding that it is up to the international community and especially the leading players in Eurasia in particular, that Talibans are persuaded, Talibans are asked again and again and pressurized to ensure that their soil is not used against any nation, especially Pakistan. Uh, from Pakistani point of view, the third major point is when when we talk about Central Eurasia. I'm not going to Palestine yet. Of course, Palestine is very, very important and very visible to all of us. But I do not relate that to to Central Eurasia as some other issues, Of course, that is related to the security of the whole world. That is related to the peace of the whole world. And that must be tackled as a global priority. But right now, I'm limiting myself to Central Eurasia. So, when we talk about Central Eurasia and security paradigms on the Central Eurasian landscape, the next point, the third point, after Russian Ukraine conflicts and Afghanistan, I would come to the long standing issues between the Eurasian countries. And for that, Pakistan has a specific perspective. Many of you are well aware of that. We believe that unless the issues like Kashmir are resolved, unlike the issues like Kashmir are resolved according to the United Nations Charter, according to the United Nations relevant resolutions, and according to the aspirations of the people of Kashmir, the broader goal of peace and security on the Eurasian landscape, on the landscape which is under specifically under Shanghai Cooperation Organization's area, would not be fulfilled. So it is not an issue only between two countries, but Kashmir has become a stumbling block in ensuring broad-based, larger connectivity and cooperation on the Eurasian landscape. Once Kashmir is resolved according to the United Nations Charter, resolutions, and aspirations of the Kashmiri people, we would be at much better pace and space to ensure greater cooperation, peace, and stability in Eurasia. And we in Pakistan believe that the right to self determination of any people should not be equated with terrorism, separatism, or extremism. Of course, we cannot deny that terrorism, separatism, extremism are the three forces that the Eurasian countries must tackle together. But I would repeat it again, that right to self determination, as enshrined by the United Nations Charter and relevant resolutions, that should not be equated with terrorism, separatism, or extremism. So, unless we have a clear policy on the Eurasian level, on the global level, we are unable to ensure a stable Eurasia and a stable globe at large. Uh, Fourthly, I would highlight what many very well read and very great minds are already working upon is the issue of transnational actors present on the Eurasian landscape. We were hearing the name only of Al Qaeda previously, but now not only IS is very much visible on the landscape. Al Qaeda and IS, nobody exactly knows if they are hand in glove or they are fighting against each other. And there are many indications which make it very clear for us that they are being used by state actors, state powers, states both inside Eurasian landscape and from outside as well. They are being used. The non-state actors like Al Qaeda, like IS, like this so-called Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan, like this movement, which is East Turkestan Islamic movement that is targeting our Islamic Turkestan party. You can give them any names. They are being used by actors and powers which are backed by states, states both inside Eurasia and outside Eurasia for their respective strategic gains. So that is something also that Eurasia needs to tackle as a coordinated, and well thought out policy. Fifthly, I have noted the issue of Iran. Actually, the issues concerning Iran, I must say, Iran itself, of course, is not the issue, but the way Iran is being handled by international community, the way Iran is being treated by international community, especially unjustified, unjust, inhuman in many cases sanctions and restrictions on Iran, that is resulting in a very difficult security situation in the Eurasian landscape. And it is good to note that countries like Russia, China, Central Asian states, Pakistan are now realizing that if we strengthen the hands of forces which are targeting, which are strangulating Iran, it will not be good. It will not be in the interest of Eurasian security, Eurasian peace and stability at the larger level. So, in my view, at number five, Iran becomes a very, very important. When I say number five, it is not in the order of intensity or priority. So, this is a list that is all too important for all the policymakers and policy researchers and strategic experts to examine from their relevant point of views, from their perspectives, and I suggest that we should come up with workable solutions, with policy proposals that are useful for our policymakers. Of course, as I mentioned in my opening words and in the middle of the presentation also, that yes, there is one overarching conflict, that is the Palestine. The Israel is trying to present it as the Israel Hezbollah conflict or Israel Hamas conflict. No, it is basically Israel Palestine conflict, and be it Hamas, be it Fatah, be it other force supporting Palestine. The basic issue is Palestine, and unless the Palestine issue is resolved in a justified manner, it will also have bearing on the global security as a whole and on its neighboring regions of South, West, and Central Asia, on the larger Middle East in particular. So we the Eurasian nations, particularly the Southwest Asia, we have very high stakes attached to the ongoing conflict in the Middle East, and we, in our capacities, have to play a role so that first we ensure a ceasefire as fast as possible, and then a lasting solution. That is, of course, not possible without giving Palestinians their due unalienable right of having a state. Having a state, we would not be able to see peace, stability, and prosperity on this region. So that is, my dear students, fellows, youngsters, that is what I have to keep in front of you, and I am here to answer if it ignites any questions in your mind. Yeah.
First of all, I would like to thank. Um, I would like to express our gratitude to you, Professor, for the valuable contribution and perspectives on Pakistan's role within the evolving security dynamics of the Eurasian region. I also would like to, if you don't mind, examine or summarize the information you shared with us. And then I will ask you questions about the new Eurasian security, new Pakistan Eurasian security architecture. If you don't mind, I will do this way.
Yeah, please, please.
So,
You want me? Yeah, please do.
okay. So first of all, I would like to summarize for our participants for students information that from your lecture. So the list of the strategic of the security threats in the perspective of Pakistan, where the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine, of course. The next one is the threat of Afghanistan, especially the threat of the Taliban's, when the mutual diplomatic relations between Pakistan and Talibs became the receiving side, mostly receiving relations between the Pakistan, when the Pakistan became the receiving side of the Taliban regime. The next is the Central Eurasian regional loan issues. I would call it disputes. For example, the Kashmir, the one of the which involves for the resolving Kashmir within the involving UN cooperation, not just with the regional integration such as SCO, but resolving under global level. The next is the issues of concerning Iran, as you mentioned. So the issues, for example, like the sanctions, unjustified sanctions for Iran, which also lead to difficulty between the countries and the difficult situation in the security policy of the region. And of course, the transnational actors such as IS, which are being used by state actors mostly. And of course, that's not only the reasons, the threats of the security of this region, but this is the main one. And I have a question for you, if you don't mind. So, my question is: you mentioned that the relations between India and Pakistan, and what role does the new Eurasian security architecture play in mediating and addressing tension between India and Pakistan in general, not only within the conflict of Kashmir, which is obviously, we understand, the resolving also involves the resolution involves the global level, but the dispute, the conflict between the nations mostly.
Thank you. Your question is very pertinent and very timely because Pakistan has just 2 weeks ago, Pakistan has organized the Council of Heads of Government Summit of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, of which many of us, the Eurasian, Central Eurasian nations, are members. And yes, Honorable Prime Minister from Kazakhstan was also here participating in the summit. I think, of course, as you mentioned, Kashmir becomes an issue of global relevance, yes, but it is of much more significance and relevance for Eurasia, for the regional countries, for major players in Eurasia, and particularly because Kashmir is situated at the very center of three regions. Which are these three regions? Central Asia, South Asia, and West Asia. So when there is a lingering conflict, there is unresolved, ongoing conflict between two major nations of this region, that is Kashmir, it becomes that it continues to put the entire Eurasian landscape on a nuclear flashpoint. I don't like to mention these words like nuclear flashpoints. You know, I'm not very comfortable talking about a nuclear conflict in any part of the world. But this is a reality that unless an issue like Kashmir is resolved, almost 2 billion people in the surrounding, which is almost a quarter of the entire global population, they would remain at the danger of, at the threat of, at the mercy of this nuclear flashpoint. So, for me, the when we talk about the new security architecture in Eurasia, I would point more towards Shanghai Cooperation Organization. And within Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the role of China and Russia becomes more eminent. So we sitting in Pakistan expect China and Russia to resolve the disputes between Pakistan and India, to come forward and help resolve the issues between the two countries as it was done between the nations of former Soviet Union, and also between them on one hand and China on the other hand. So unless it has proper attention, due attention from Beijing, from Moscow, from the regional capitals like Astana, Tashkent, we will not be heading towards a lasting solution of Kashmir dispute. So I expect from the not only Shanghai Cooperation Organization, but I would also like to bring in here the Kazakhstan's initiative of SICA, Conference on Interaction on confidence building measures in Asia. So SICA after SCO also has the potential to actually Pakistan and India are both members of it since its foundation day, and Pakistan and India have interacted from the platform of SICA also. So within the new security architecture of the Eurasian landscape, SICA also becomes an important platform for Pakistan and India to negotiate, to first start with confidence building measures and head towards the resolution of the issues between them gradually. Other platforms are important, including ECO, like Economic Cooperation Organization. But as Pakistan is not very much active into Eurasian Economic Union and the many of the initiatives that are backed by Moscow primarily. So those at the time would not be as effective as Shanghai Cooperation Organization, SICA, and ECO.
Thank you very much for such a detailed answer. So I fully understand your words that the cooperations or integrations regional could also lead, or there had probably the major role in resolving the conflicts between the Pakistan and India. So, and also I would like to express my feelings about the lecture. So, your lecture has provided us with a deeper understanding of the geopolitical and strategic complexities play, and also in the global area, in the regional area, which is critical for future policy and also academic discourse. So, thank you very much, Professor Irfan. So, we would like also I would like also ask other our participants to join Q&A session. If you have some questions, guys, please don't be shy. Ask the to clarify some moments. So I think everything was clear.
Thank you.
Let me just introduce a person to Irfan. I don't know if I already did it, but if I did not, I should do it now. Carly Carr, she's just submitted her PhD thesis recently. She's a student of Christ University, and she is a student of Anurag.
Oh,
So she recently visited. It was actually beginning of this year, Kazakhstan, and is doing her PhD research on energy diplomacy on Central Asia. But I told her so much about you, and she especially joined today's session. I don't know if her microphone is working or not. If it is, then
Uh,
yeah.
yes, Irfan, here.
Huh? See, she calls me
Thanks.
Abba.
First of all, sir, thank you so much. The lecture was really, really insightful. I've heard a lot about you from Akbokta ma'am, so it really made a
Thank you.
sense, especially about the Pakistan's energy dilemma that it's facing right now, and how it's playing with China, especially in the Eurasian context. So, really thankful for the lecture that has been delivered today, sir.
Nice of you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
And to you especially, happy Diwali.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, what do we do, Irfan? What do we do for Diwali? Do we ask for some goods or what do we do?
Oh, well, Diwali, to be very crisp, we should say it is the victory of light over darkness. So,
Wait, I mean, well, we got it with Lakshmi. That I don't know how to show you. See, this is my Lakshmi.
mhm.
Yeah, this is Goddess Lakshmi, Goddess
Yeah,
of Wealth.
this is my Ganesha.
Ganesha.
And there is not a single person in the world who does not want Lakshmi to be on his or her side.
See, and I have my own Lakshmi
That's good.
as Lakshmi Karlikar.
That's good. So I thank you guys for providing me the platform, the forum, and also listening so attentively. So learning, as I said in the beginning, is always mutual, and we learn from each other. And in any way, if I am possible to contribute a word or two in the work that you are doing already, that would be a feeling of being glad for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor.